Hi guys, today is Thursday with Chopper History, brought to you by Indian Motorcycles and Law Tigers. And today we have a special show, as usual. We're going to have Billy Lane from Choppers Inc. and from the first Discovery Ride.
Yeah, my old friend Billy Lane.
Which the first Discovery Ride was in 2003. So 17 years ago. Holy cow, 17 years ago. That's a long time ago.
Yeah, I know. It seems like it was yesterday.
Hey, you want to buy a title?
All right, guys. So I'll just get to, I'll DP handle some business. Let me get to some of these comments because I saw you guys are already commenting like crazy. Let's see. Mike Draco, hey Darcy, Craig Robastic, Craig, who is from American Icon, which is the clear that we use. A great product. Any of you guys painters out there want to try some good clear? Definitely give American Icon a try. I'm sure you'll love it. What's up, Rob Lations? Barry from Ireland. Very cool. Jake Woods. Billy Lane's one of my favorite chopper builders. He's definitely a chopper builder, that's for sure. Steven Drago, hoping to get some riding in this weekend. Steven, I'm hoping to get out of my boat one more time. I was supposed to get it winterized actually today and shrink wrapped, and I called and canceled it because it's supposed to be like 65, 70 here, which is so warm for us. So Steven, I'm trying to get out of my boat. Never mind two wheels. Katrina, hi. Martin from Holland. Dennis Frame, what's up? Herb, let's see. No sound yet. Can you guys hear me? Can everyone hear me? Let me go down to the... Yeah, I think so. Maybe you just don't have your sound up. Turn your sound up. Jada Petro. Let's see. I don't know how you'd say it. Micha from Germany. Very cool. I'd love to see all you guys from different countries, even different states. That's very cool. We love that you guys are watching us from all over. Amanda and Kurt Emery, good morning. Matt Soraka, what's up, Matt? We were actually just talking about you yesterday, about New York City. Anyway, Craig Ferry, still waiting for your call, DP. I'll remind him when he comes back over. Jeremy, good morning. Mike Dunn, beautiful day here in New Hampshire. Yes, it's beautiful, which I actually told DP, I was like, hey, let's do it outside. He's like, no, it's not comfortable out there, so we're doing it in my office, obviously. But I wanted to go outside because it's, like I said, we have all the doors open. It's beautiful out here. We got to soak it up while we can. Mike Dunn, oh, I got you already. Ibanza, good morning from New Zealand. That's cool. Shannon Poor, they all measure up. There you go. You got your Biker Build-Off lingo going. Noel, hello. If that's the same Noel, get your FXR in here. Andy, Bridgewater checking in. Didn't you guys see the screenshot of the Ironhead Digger I posted? I found it on Instagram. No, Andy, you didn't. Make sure you tag either DP's Instagram or mine. Mine's Jody Perowitz and DP's is D Perowitz. So whichever one. What's up, Matt French? Annette Dion. Let's see, guys, the comments are just flying in. Wenton, good morning. Walt, what's up, Walt? Let's see, Zach from...
Hey, guys, I'm back.
Southern Arizona. Mike from London. Greg from Moramine in Australia. That's cool. Draco, Cincinnati's checking in. Wenton, ready for today's show. Katrina, Martin, Greg Watkins.
Drew Woodford. Hey, yeah. Drew.
Hey, Drew and Ashley. Barry Boone, sound is perfect. Yeah, I think that guy probably didn't have his volume up.
Yeah.
Dennis Frame, sounds good. Jim O'Brien from Nashville. Dan Benson, another one from Tennessee. Let's see, Martin. Santa Jim, president of the Indian Riders Group in Southern California.
Oh, where's
Very
that?
Cool. See, Santa Jim
Oh,
Smith.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's Santa.
Like Santa. I might be an Indian rider before long.
No, we both got our Indian shirts on today.
Music City Indian.
Yeah.
This is our friend, Cam. If anybody needs an Indian and you're down in the Nashville area, go see Cam at Music City Indian.
Let's see. Kevin Olson, good morning. Let's see. Al Camino from South Africa. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Ruben from Virginia. eBay Jake.
Yeah, eBay.
Matt is one of my most famous motorcycle clients on the planet.
Who is?
I don't know. eBay says Matt is one of my most famous motorcycle clients on the planet.
Who do you mean, eBay?
Yeah, Matt.
Matt who?
Did we just talk about Matt?
I don't know. We might have.
Yeah. Let's see. Dustin from Minnesota. BBO, Bike a Build Off. Is that just like, what is BBO? Bike a Build Off?
Yeah.
Is what got me interested in bikes. Had the honor to meet a few of the show, including you guys. Haven't met Billy yet. Someday. Well, you can meet him on here.
The Bike a Build Off was, the whole series was just an awesome deal. It boosted the motorcycle industry over the top. We just loved it. We all became good friends. Everybody that was involved in the build-offs, all the bike builders, we all became good friends. We had such a good time. Unforgettable times from the Bike a Build-Offs. Yeah, we wish they would come back as much as you guys. But obviously it would come back to a certain degree. Vincent, morning guys, love your show. Pat from Lemonster. Johnny Hemp, good morning from California. So you're from the left coast. We're on the right coast. You know the right one. Good morning, Tony Dukes. Arthur from Scotland. Walter Curio. Martin, Billy is the man for your builds. Andy, I'll find it again. Tag you guys. Yeah. Good morning, Cindy. Tommy Mayers. Joe, Martin, Alan. Fred from Colorado. Yeah, we got people from everywhere watching today.
Thank you guys all for checking in and putting your comments and stuff. And, sorry if we can't get to everybody's, but I can see this is like going like crazy. I see Filippo from Italy, but it's not the Filippo.
Oh, okay. It's a different Filippo.
Different Filippo. Must be a common name in Italy.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So let's get to the show because I know you guys have all been waiting for this. And as we have, this is going to be a good conversation. Please join in, post your comments, questions, and I'll try to get to them as much as we can. All right, so I'm going to play this little quick video. Let's see if I can get to it for you guys. So, and then we'll bring on Billy.
You see me get near this with a hammer? Stop me.
Leatherworker Paul Cox has brought Billy's seat all the way from New York.
There it is. It looks good too, man. It almost matches the color of the paint, that good leather. Like a little Texas rainstorm to get your night going, huh?
Late that night, the bright lights of Dallas. Never one to miss a party, Billy finally rolls in at midnight.
All right, guys. That was a good little clip. Yeah, so Billy said that. That's compliments of Billy. All right, so let's bring him on. Hey, what's up, Billy?
Hey, Bill.
How you guys doing?
Good.
Good. How about you?
I'm doing well.
Yeah. How's everything down in Nashville?
It's good down here. Cold, not cold.
I put my earbuds in, and I love living here. I'm really glad I moved here from Florida.
Yeah. Tell us about it.
So we moved here last summer, mainly because we'd been visiting here and loved it here, but the community and schools for raising our girls is just outstanding. So that's why we came here.
Oh, great.
So you have 3 of the most adorable little girls. I love watching Erin's posts. They are such characters.
Yeah. Those girls can't be mine. They're too cute to be mine.
Yeah.
They are cute. They are cute. You and Erin must, I mean, it must be a lot of her genes, but
Yeah, no doubt.
definitely make some cute little girls. And I like to
Thank
see
you.
them even if they're sitting on bikes, getting them on bikes and being around your shop and stuff like that is so cool to be at such a young age.
Yeah, they love it. I mean, I'm sure you two can relate, but you know, like I'll come home from work every day, and Aaron will meet me at the end of the block, and all three girls just run and want to jump on the bike and go for a ride. They love it.
That's
Oh,
so
that's
cool.
so cool. Yeah. Geez, yeah. You've become quite a dad now, huh?
I'm learning that maybe that's my greatest skill. You know, I really love being a dad.
Yeah. Well, it just it'll come kind of natural.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna have to get with you for some pointers when they become adolescents.
Yeah.
Right now, they're easy.
Were you changing diapers? Did you change any diapers?
I've changed so many diapers.
And
I've gone from a whiskey flask and brass knuckles to a diaper bag and baby wipes. You know?
that is quite
Yeah,
the
I know.
change. I was thinking that I was trying to find old pictures from the Discovery ride, and I was like, wow, have things changed even in our aspect?
Yeah,
That Discovery ride was 17 years ago.
I know. I was looking at you in the video when you were so young.
I know it was. I feel like I remember it like it was yesterday. It was one of the best rides we've ever been on, and
Yeah.
it was like, holy cow, I feel old.
Yeah, I mean,
It's-
that Discovery ride, Billy, was such
Yeah,
an
yeah.
awesome experience. You know what I mean? Just everything, meeting all the new people and all your guys, and it was great.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a gang that came along with us.
Yeah.
you know, that was my favorite part about Biker Build Off, especially compared to the other shows that were on at that time, was that we rode those bikes, and you know, everything that came along with riding them such a distance was what created the meat and potatoes of the show and made them so memorable.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I found this picture and I thought, and a couple people when I posted that you were going to be on, a couple of comments brought this up, and I thought, what's going on in this picture?
Let me put my old man glasses on. Oh, we were trying to cool off my seat. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. With the back of your seat, was it your seat that caught on fire?
No, it was his coat. It was your coat.
Oh yeah, it was.
I never forget, Billy. I'm riding next to you and I see smoke. And I'm thinking, oh, no big deal. Next thing I know, your coat's on fire. Oh, that's unforgettable.
It's I knew that seat was going to get hot, and I made a steel plate to use as a heat sink to keep the heat from going into my body. But I forgot to put it on at the last minute and left it at home, and that proved to be fateful. You know, is probably the best word for it.
Yeah.
Did you feel your butt getting hot?
Oh, I was so hot. I still have a mark. Let me show you. Let me pull up my pants to show you guys. No, I'm only kidding, but it was so hot, it was unbearable. I mean, I could ride 20 minutes maybe, and then I was like, this is unbearable. I have to pull over. You guys know. I mean, it was.
Yeah. Well, who was it that rode next to you with a quart bottle of water, and they kept pouring they'd pull over next to you and pour water on the back of your fender? You know, grass. I think it was Beener or somebody.
Maybe Ruskin.
Yeah, Ruskin, one of them.
Yeah, it was Aaron Green and Nick and
Yeah.
all of us. Anybody had any kind of liquid that we could cool it off with. It was hard to ride that thing, dude.
Yeah, but not Jack Daniels.
No, we don't waste that stuff.
Yeah, right.
Right.
That's the reason I was so late showing up, was the Jack Daniels.
Yeah, well, that's the root of all evil.
Yeah, you know, that was a real hard time when we made that show. I had at the time, you know, we filmed it February to April,
Right.
2003,
Yeah.
and I had just had, like, my best friend was like a brother to me, got murdered at the end of January of 2003. We were moving into the new shop from another building, and we had just had everything had fallen apart. Remember the Camel Roadhouse that they were doing?
Yeah.
That was right at the same time the Camel thing all fell apart. So we had a lot of things going on, and I was supposed to be, when we filmed that show, I had a trip planned to go to Indonesia to go surfing with a buddy of mine in the islands.
Yeah.
And we canceled that trip because they called and said, hey, we were going to show up in 2 weeks and start filming another biker build off.
Yeah.
And so everything kind of happened unexpectedly and at once. And so it made it a real difficult time. But we also knew that after the first one we did with, Roger Bourget, the first biker build off, that it was such an amazing experience and what it did to transform our business and the bike industry.
Right.
So we knew we had to do it.
Yeah. I mean, what it did for the bike industry, it probably never, ever happen again, unfortunately. But, I mean, it was just an awesome time. I mean, the following 10 years were incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm glad, I'll tell you, I'm glad that you were involved. When we started, a lot of people don't know a lot of what happened with Biker Build Off, but when they called me to do Biker Build Off, they didn't call me to do Biker Build Off. Hugh King showed up. Dave Nichols, who was the editor of Easy Rider at the time, called me and said, hey, Discovery was getting ready to make Motorcycle Mania 3 with you. And so they came to my shop. We started filming. They had, you know how it was back then. There was no contracts, no money.
No, and just
Yeah.
so everybody knows, you guys didn't make money. They didn't pay you to
No.
do like a build offs because everybody
Yeah,
thinks oh, you became a millionaire. No, that's not
Yeah.
not
Well-
from Discovery.
Well, you
anyway.
can't say that because they did pay for 2 nights motel while you're on the road. That was the extent of it.
Well, they treated you better than they treated me then, because I never even got a motel paid
I was
for.
gonna say, maybe we should be careful saying
Yeah,
that.
I think they gave me like $150 or something.
Yeah, they didn't give us anything, but so they showed up and we were starting to film Motorcycle Mania, and it was just going to be about me and my shop. And then Hugh King, the producer, came in one day and said, "Hey, let's go to the store and get a 12-pack because we're not able to make Motorcycle Mania 3. He couldn't tell me why. He goes, we have to come up with the idea for another show right now. So we literally grabbed some beers and sat on the floor in my shop and started talking about how we were going to do the show. And so, we started talking about all the guys who were building custom bikes. And, obviously your name came up and Andy and Larry. And, Jesse was already doing Motorcycle Mania and his own thing at the time. So, he wasn't even an issue. The Tuttles weren't even on the radar yet.
Thank God.
Yeah, so we sat down and started talking about everybody who was what's the right word?
In the industry, in the
Eligible?
business.
Yeah, like of importance, like who
Yeah.
was really of importance and who we thought would be good on TV and who would deserve it. And so we sat down and talked about all that stuff, and we came up with the idea for Biker Build Off, and that's how it came out. And they just decided they wanted to use Roger Bourget for the first one, and then we were making that one, and we started talking about doing a second one already. And they talked to me about you, and I said, hell yeah, I would love to do a show with Dave because I'm a huge fan of your work. I always have been.
Oh, thank you.
And so that's how it evolved. It wasn't even meant to be Biker Build Off originally, and it just turned out to be an awesome show for quite a few years.
Yeah, a lot of years.
Yeah, that's pretty cool too, because it's like it was just a random conversation that turned into something great. It wasn't like it was all planned out and all the logistics and stuff. And I mean, I know our episode that they had planned, 2 weeks, and then it was like, okay, they'll come back 2 weeks later. It wasn't like everything was set in stone. It's just kind of freely, which makes it better. I think it makes it more real too.
Yeah, it was all set in sand. There was no stone with those guys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was very fluid, but I mean, I think what made it so interesting, and I learned that right off from the very first show with Roger, and then when we were doing the show with you, Dave, that just be authentic, try and be interesting, don't say too much, and let whatever happens, and that was literally what we did, and it's what makes the shows memorable. It wasn't fake or phony; it was so genuine.
No, it wasn't. Nothing was planned, that's for sure.
Yeah, and even like the antics in between were good, and they were real. They busted balls. That's what people do.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the things that's so great is like Roger Bourget's style couldn't be more different than mine. What you do is so different than what I do. even Indian Larry, you know, even though he and I both build a lot of rigid frame choppers, what he did was so different than what I did. And,
Yeah.
you know, they really did a good job early on at showing the different styles. We all, you know, we're all in the motorcycle business. We all do the same thing, but the different styles because of region or our history, our age. You know, you have so much more history than me because, you know, you were there in the 70s, you know, when I was still, you know, trying to learn how to walk. So it just really, I think it really great. No, I'm saying I'm old. And you're not as young as I am.
Yeah.
I agree with you that they did do a good array of different kinds of builders. You guys are all in the same industry, but in different bubbles. And it's cool for them to have showcased different styles that there can be. So there might be somebody that's a huge fan of Pro Streets, so they're his fan. They might be a huge fan of rigid choppers, so they're more your fan. But
Right.
they're all in the motorcycle bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
And
towards
that was-
the end they kind of lacked that, though.
You think what?
Towards like the end, the last few build-offs were kind of, but
Yeah. I quit watching after a while because of that. You know, I'll tell you
Yeah.
a perfect example of that is, so when we were filming the show with you, Dave, in 2003, they were already asking me, hey, you know, we're going to probably want to do another show with you. And they were kind of picking out people, and the people they were picking, it wasn't that I disliked them. I just was like, why how does that make any sense with me? And I was really pushing very hard for Indian Larry.
Yeah.
And that's why I had Larry and Paul come down. I mean, Paul had been doing seats for me, but Larry didn't need to be there, but Larry was there because I flew them down. I'm like, hey, come down. They had already known, you know, Tom Beers and Hugh King from Motorcycle Mania because Larry had been on Motorcycle Mania with Jesse,
Right.
but they didn't want to use him for Biker Build Off. And I said, are you guys crazy? You've got to use him. He's so amazing. And they didn't get it.
he's such a
And
good
when
character.
yeah,
He was a good character, like not just a motorcycle builder, but his whole character, the aurora around him, and you know, being in the carnival and that kind of stuff is such a different perspective.
yeah. And so I was really, really pushing for him. And once he came down and they sat and talked, they said, okay, we're going to use Larry. But that was kind of the signal for me. They were trying to start to bring these other people in that really didn't have any skill or qualifications, you know, that weren't maybe on a level of yours or mine. And I'm like, this is not fair to this person. Like, they were trying to get me to go against a woman, which I thought would have been awesome, but she didn't have really any skill. And they wanted to use her only because she was a woman, which I think is a huge mistake.
I agree.
For women in general, and for her and for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
It make me look like a bully or worse, you know? So, I was really against that. And that's when I started to started to back away from it a little bit, you know? And I was pretty unhappy with some of the decisions they made later on. And then eventually, you know, it became what it became. And I was glad I was out.
Yeah.
Well, you know, in the end, I think that politics took over.
Yeah.
And, you know, not that there wasn't politics in everything, but in the end, man, it was, you know, the politics was crazy. It wasn't the same anymore.
Yeah, and there's a lot of exploitation too, you know, because so the day that the first Biker Build Off aired with us and not Russell Mitchell, Roger Bourget, was the same day that American Chopper's first episode aired.
Oh, really?
And, yeah, it was, they aired back to back.
That was kind of cool.
So, yeah, so what happened was right away that show became a money producer for Discovery, right? And there was all kinds of licensing deals and everything else, and you saw how that whole thing went with them.
Yeah.
And so what happened was the greed came in, and they started wanting to try and make that kind of money with Biker Build Off. And I think that's where it all really went south, was kind of the greed, because, you know, when they started with American Choppers and Orange County Choppers, they didn't have any agreements on the licensing. So Orange County Choppers was making a lot of money that the network wasn't getting.
Yeah.
And I think that's where things kind of got funny. But hey, the things that we did with you and you know, Indian Larry and Russell Mitchell, I mean, those shows were phenomenal.
Yeah, no, they were great. You know, I mean, back then, I mean, you waited, what was it, Tuesday nights, right? Man, I mean, everybody waited for Tuesday night to go home and watch it. You know, everybody watched it. You know, that was a big thing. You know, everybody looked forward to it.
Chris Simmons is watching us, and she just commented that Tom Bias didn't know anything about motorcycles when he did our show, Biker Women, back in '95, and I can second that with Hugh King. Hugh King did not have a clue about motorcycles.
Right.
He was so far from motorcycles, and I almost think that a little bit hurt them.
Yeah, for sure. You know, Hugh had been producing all the videos, the VHS videos for Easy Rider. That's what Hugh did. And that's how Jesse, you know, came to Discovery with Motorcycle Mania. You know, they decided they want to do something. They called Easy Rider magazine. Easy Rider, Hugh happened to be there, and he said, "Oh, yeah, there's this guy in Long Beach named Jesse James who's building bikes." That's how that whole thing started. And then, you know, Jesse asked me to do Monster Garage, which is how that it came to me, and then it all evolved. It's a really, really interesting story how all that stuff evolved.
Oh yeah. Well, Dave Nichols was a big part of that too. Dave was in the middle, so he was the guy that was advising Hugh King for the most part.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's funny how
and
one thing leads to so many more things.
Yeah, and most people who watch the shows have no idea. You know, they have no idea of half the stuff that goes on in those shows.
Right.
I mean, you know, but I really enjoyed making them, and I can tell you, you know, I remember I think it was a Cincinnati dealer show one year, and I was building custom bikes, but my bikes were kind of sloppy, you know, and I always aspired to be like you, Dave, and Donnie Smith and Arlen Fatlin, you know, just really bringing my quality up. And then I saw one of your bikes at the show, and I was like, oh man, it's like so well done, you know, and it was one of the things that really made me elevate what I do to another level.
Yeah.
And it took a long time, you know. I mean, it took a long time because you get busy doing things, and then when we did the biker build-offs, those bikes to me were like the lowest quality because we had to do them so fast, you know.
Oh yeah.
Everything was so rushed, you know, waiting on paint, waiting on chrome,
Yeah.
you know, and trying to do things on their schedule was really, really difficult. And so, those bikes are the bikes that I did that I like kind of the least, but they did the most for my business, and obviously what makes me so recognizable.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, I mean, they made it look like we could, you know, I mean, people say, you know, when you go to build somebody a bike and you tell them, well, it's going to be 6 months to a year, they say, well, geez, you did it in 2 weeks on TV. What's it? Oh, it's not quite that way. Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine that during the biker build-off era, let's say, it's hard would probably, especially for you, because you got so much notoriety so quick, that it was hard to build such quality and take the time to do things because you're so pulled at going to shows and apparel and fans and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And I mean, thank God there really wasn't social media back then, because you really would have been.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the truth. I mean, it definitely pulled me in a million different directions. I didn't manage it very well, you know, and I've learned so much from. I mean, I'm glad I had that experience. I've learned so much from it, but it was a really special time. I mean, thank God it was before social media.
Yeah,
I agree.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We have so a couple of people have asked questions. They want to know, both of you guys, if they did biker build-offs again, would you do it again?
I'll defer to Dave to answer first.
I'll be honest with you. I don't think that.
Sorry.
I don't think I could do it again. You know, my operation is much smaller now. I don't have a crew to speak of. You know, and it takes so much to do it. Plus, when we were doing the biker build-offs, you know, everything, all the companies would give you stuff. You know, so you didn't, you know, the labor came out of your pocket, but the parts, you could get most of the parts. Well, you know, it's not like that anymore. You know, I mean, we could get some free shit, but nothing like it was. And, you know, I don't think that I could put the time in right now. I mean, if anybody was going to do it, it would be Jody. And, you know, I would support her to do something like that. But for myself, I don't know. It'd be pretty questionable, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I would do it. I mean, I'm in a different place in life for sure than you are. I mean, I have 3 young children, you know, so longevity is a big thing for me.
Yeah.
But it would be hard to do it now because everything is very structured now with TV. You know, they have all these expectations, and you
Right.
can't do what you want to do, and you can't say what you want to say. And
It's not
Yeah,
written in
yeah.
sand anymore.
Yeah.
yeah, it would be hard. And I've been even curious about Jesse doing Monster Garage now because they're remaking Monster Garage because things are so different. And Jesse's, you know, he's not willing to just do or say what they want him to say. And I'm curious to see how that goes.
Yeah.
But I would do it. But, you know, I don't know if it'll ever happen again. Just like you said earlier, you know, like I don't know if you could possibly recreate what we did back then, you know, in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
and
agree.
plus, there's no magazines either. You know, magazines
Yeah.
are a big part of everything, you know?
Yes.
You know, I don't know. I don't know if it could, you know, what it would turn out like. And like I say, you know, it would take so much time out of what I have to do every week. You know what I mean? All the
Yeah.
jobs that I've got going on, and you know, I don't want to work 12 hours a day anymore. You know what I mean? I'm happy with 8 hours. You know, I mean, most of the time it's usually a little more than 8, but still, you know, I don't want to work all night long and you know, stay up for 2-3 days at a time. You know, those days are over for me.
See, I'm working 12-hour days, but I've got 3 little girls and
Right.
Yeah, you can't miss out on
private
them.
private preschool and prepaid college, and they eat like NFL linemen.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm in a definitely different place. I envy you.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, so tell us about all the stuff you're doing now.
Okay, so you know, I'm still doing a ton of choppers. You know, I've been doing the Sons of Speed thing for a few years now because it's something I want to do forever. And I got to a point to where if I don't do it now, when will I do it? So I've really been focusing the last, you know, 4 years on Sons of Speed. But I'm sitting in a shop full of choppers, you know, all panhead, shovelhead, knuckleheads. You know, I'm getting ready to start another hubless bike, which, you know, I haven't done in a long time.
That's cool.
And,
Go back to your roots almost.
Yeah, you know, and I'll tell you something funny. So, like a lot of the bikes I'm building, the people I'm building bikes for were watching us on TV in the early 2000s. And they might have been teenagers or early 20s or even preteens.
Yeah.
And now they're old enough to kind of have what they want.
Yeah,
So
they
a lot
got
of them, you know,
afford it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so they're coming back to me and saying, hey, I want what you were building in 2002. So I'm doing a lot of that, and then still doing, like, I've got a racer behind me, you know, that I'm working on.
Yeah, a couple people have commented, what's the bike behind you? So obviously that looks like
so
a.
this is,
Go ahead.
it's a 1925 Harley JDCB, the 74 cubic inch JD, but it has Crocker 1938 Crocker cylinder heads on it.
Wow.
I was going to say those cylinders
and I'm-
look different.
Yeah, they're you know, a Croc. I'll show you the other side real quick. Let me see if I can get. They're overhead valve Crocker cylinder heads from a Crocker Big Twin. You know, I've been collecting all this old stuff for over 20 years when nobody was looking and there was no Google and no eBay and
Social
Right,
media.
you know, no Instagram. Yeah, and so like a lot of the stuff that I have now, you can't get anymore just because it's all been spoken for and it's too expensive. So you know, so that's like I'm doing that for myself, and we'll race that, you know, at Sons of Speed.
I was going to ask you that. You're
got
going to
an
race that at Sons of Speed?
Yeah, I should be able to get it done. I don't see why not. I have a lot of work to do. You know, doing some restorations. On, you know, I call it dinosaur bones. You know, pre-1930s. You know, like a 1914 Pope and a 1904 Merkel. Doing some restoration stuff, and you know, I'm doing a Crocker twin for myself that I've had forever that I'm finally finishing up. And
That's
here's,
cool.
you know, that 1911 Indian. You've seen that at Sons of Speed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really cool.
So
So what year was it? So you called me, and I specifically remember this because I was in Europe, and you texted me and said, "Hey, call me." And I thought, wonder what he's got brewing. And it was, we talked about Sons of Speed and that you wanted me involved in it. And then for some reason, I don't think it happened that year. Did it not happen till the following year?
Right. I think that was 2014, probably 2015. So, because we were going to race in October of 15, and then Hurricane.
Yes.
Matthew
Whatever.
came through.
and wiped out Daytona.
Yeah, Hurricane, or maybe that was 2016, but Hurricane Matthew came through and it blew the bleachers of New Smyrna Speedway onto the track.
Oh,
So we
wow.
ended up not racing to the following March, which was, I think, March of 17. So, yeah. But it was hard, getting that off the ground was really hard because board track racers were kind of only known to the antique collector crowd. I mean,
True.
people kind of knew what they were, but as far as knowing how to really run one and ride one, nobody was doing it except for some of the guys at the antiques meets. But I want to do something on a different level. I'm really glad you're involved. You're a champion. I mean, you checker flagged at our races. We love to have you involved.
Yeah, I love to be involved. I'm very lucky for my opportunity with Curtis, giving me a bike to ride, several bikes. I mean, I've ridden in all three classes, and I love being involved because I think it's wicked cool, and it needs to be more, whether it's the audience, the participation, the races themselves. It's such a cool thing, and nobody else is doing it.
Yeah, we're going to stick with it. And I'm trying to really grow it on an organic level. Like I've resisted, there's no sponsors. There's no politics. We tried to really keep it very simple and more pure and about the racing and the racers and stuff, and let it grow on its own. I mean, the races in March of this year were phenomenal. And we skipped October because of COVID, but I'm hoping that, not hoping, we're going to come back in March and try and do a really great event. And I was at an antique swap meet over in Denton, North Carolina, and I must have had a dozen people come up to me and say, "Hey, I want to race at your next race." So, we started we were going to have six racers at the first one, and now we're at 50.
It's almost going to get out of your hands, though, that you like to manage that many people and a race that big and to keep it organized and safe. It's like kind of a catch-22 because it's like, do you keep it small or do you let it grow huge and, get someone to, I don't want to say manage it more, but I know a lot falls on Erin, and I know from running our own events, it's a lot, so it's almost like, what's that next step,
Yeah, I don't want to manage it. I mean, I quit racing because it took so much of my time that I couldn't do both.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I'd like to have somebody come take it over. That would be the best thing for me. But, until it's ready for that to happen, I'm going to stick with it because I think it still needs me to. I mean, I always want to remain a part of it, but I'd like for at some point to have somebody.
Yeah, you're the face of it.
Yeah, but I'd love to have somebody come in and manage it at some point and take it over because I know someone could do a better job at it than I am. I mean, I'm doing okay, but I know someone who that's what they specialize in could come in and really make something special out of it.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, Billy, it's a really cool deal. I love going there. I'm involved because Jody's involved, but people are really missing out that aren't coming. I bring my whole crew comes and they all sit up in the bleachers and man, they're like thrilled about it. They love it.
And they're not antique guys. They're those, those other guys that ride the big wheel baggers.
Yeah, right.
So
These
this
are
isn't
all
their thing, but they love it. They make a point to come out and watch it because it is so different. And to be going around in a circle with no brakes and no gears, people can't grasp that until you see it. So cool.
One guy made a comment that I'll never forget. He said, "Wow, this is the real deal," and that just describes it.
It really is, and you racers like eBay Jake and Jody, and there's so many good people that race out there, but they put it all on the line. They're pushing those bikes. Those bikes were never made to do that. People don't realize.
No.
There was before they started building the board tracks, this United States was gravel roads and country roads that you couldn't go 30 miles an hour on, and they started building these board tracks, and these bikes immediately started going 100 miles an hour, and it was the first extreme sport in the U.S. And people will come out and say, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe motorcycles anything could go that fast." And and now here we are a century plus later, kind of recreating it. And you have to make it has to be entertaining. That's part of what I've been doing is making it entertaining. And we run those heats so fast. There's no downtime at that event. We just run heat after heat after heat, because people's attention span is short. They want to go do other things, but one of the big parts of it is, we give you something to do at Daytona besides a bar crawl. We didn't want it just to be
Yeah.
go to a bike show or go to Main Street and drink and drink and drink. We wanted to give people another opportunity that really had some substance. And then, there's amazing people like yourselves that are involved. And so I'm really proud of it. And I'm proud of everybody who's involved, and anybody who's missing out on it is really missing out.
Right. They really are. I mean, everybody that goes to Daytona in March, you guys got to go out to the Speedway and watch these races. They're phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to see, even to know that, you're riding 100-year-old motorcycles, no brakes, no suspension, no gears. I mean, people can't even grasp that, never mind be able to, watch it. And then, it's just a whole different perspective to grasp once you're watching it.
Yeah. And some of those bikes that are out there, they're serious money too. Those WRs that you race for, and those bikes.
Oh, he cut out. I think he cut out, Billy.
Races. One of those bikes is probably a $200,000 original Harley factory race bike. I mean, it's people are bringing them out. They're like, those bikes were novelties or
Right.
kind of relics before. They just looked at it and appreciated it and looked at pictures of it and talked about what happened. And now you're actually putting them back into use on the track. It's really, really amazing. I love being a part of it.
Yeah, I think it's very cool. And like you said, with the money wise, I don't think that people can grasp, how much money, like I don't know an actual number, but there's no doubt that Curtis and the 19J that I ride for Curtis, he probably has 50 grand in that easy.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money for a motorcycle that I only ride twice a year.
Yeah.
So it's there's definitely some dedication by some of the races and owners and that kind of stuff that they want to be a part of it and they want this to grow.
Yeah. And, like these old Harley J's, they're made, pretty much 1915 to 1929. People don't realize that, they had a lot of mechanical issues. Like we said, they weren't made to do what we do with them. So they eat the rear cam follower. Like every time you race one, you start eating up that rear cam follower. And once it goes, it's catastrophic inside the engine. They usually break a whole bunch of parts inside the engine. I have a box of Harley J cam followers. They're destroyed out of bikes that we've taken off the track. But, that's why they're so valuable, is because there's not that many left, because, they made a lot of them, but they all got ruined a century ago and got scrapped. They scrapped them and they built skyscrapers and artillery and ships and Toyotas got built out of them. And so what's left are to race them. So for those who come out and just, abuse them like you do on the track, it's really cool to see it.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It is cool.
Yeah. It is very cool.
Somebody else is commenting on here is Martin from the Netherlands.
Oh yeah, Martin.
Yeah,
Bender,
I think I met him. Is he the one that has a race in the Netherlands or is
Yes.
trying to?
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool guy. Well, Martin,
Yeah,
thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, Martin's flagged for us at the races. He's building a 24 right now, a 24, I think a FJ or something like that. Really cool stuff. I mean, it's people, and I met him at Sturgis when we were trying to put together the first race out there, and that's how I met him. And I didn't know him, and but the motorcycles brought us all together. And that's one of the things that got me into this so many years ago. Over 30 years ago, was the bikes brought me together with people that I really enjoyed being around.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody said they want to know if you've ever ridden on a wooden track.
No, I mean the closest has been Wall of Death, but on
Yeah, I was just going to say, I don't really even know of any. Do you?
No, there is not. I mean, we were at one point we're trying to build one. It would cost you a couple $1 million to build a suitable wooden track, and then you have all the issues of what do you do with it when you're not using it? Weather, maintaining a track like that would be expensive. Building it would be exorbitant.
Yeah. It says first race I saw when the guy rode up the wall. Hans commented that, so I'm assuming he means Josh. Didn't Josh Young?
Young.
No, Josh Young.
Yeah.
Josh Young went literally up the wall, back down, and kept going.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. I mean,
It was.
I saw that and I was like, wow.
Yeah, that was such an outstanding moment, and he rode that bike. I mean, he literally talk about hanging on for your life. And there's been a couple moments out there, that and the one where Brittany Olsen started to get into a tank slap. I don't know. Were you there, Jody, when that
On the
happened?
corner. Yes.
Yeah. Oh my
Like on
gosh.
turn 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her bike got in such a violent tank slap, and I'm like, she's gonna jump off of this bike. And I was thinking, I don't know which is worse, staying on it or jumping off of it. And she pulled it out somehow. And then when Josh Young rode it right up that wall, I mean, he was 2 feet up that wall.
Literally.
Yeah, oh, I know. It was
literally.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, 80
that
miles
was-
an hour, you know.
Yeah, I mean, but these are the things, like, I don't want to say that it's a safe event, but these are things that can happen when you're racing. And like you said, we're racing dinosaurs.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I mean, and it's getting faster and faster. Every time I ever go out there, you know, for an event or for like a practice day, I'm just blown away by how much faster they are than the time I was there before, you know. And I mean, obviously there's a limit, but we haven't reached that limit yet. It's just getting faster and faster and more exciting. And it's growing, you know, it's getting bigger, but manageably bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you say faster and faster, I think that every time I see eBay. Man,
Yeah.
eBay just keeps getting faster and faster. I mean, and somebody commented too, it's the only races where you can actually drag the frame.
Yeah.
eBay would be the one to do that. He is such a good rider, and I mean, he kills it at your races. He's just
He really does. I mean, when Billy Applegate came out and won, I think
Another
2 years ago, I thought no one's gonna be able to beat this guy. No one's gonna be able to bring a faster bike out here or ride it like he rode that thing. And then eBay, who'd been there all that time, eBay was really suffering more from anything than mechanical issues with the bike. And once they got those resolved, I mean, I think, you know, him and Billy Applegate gave us some heats that you just never couldn't forget.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
And if
know.
you see it,
and
Yeah.
that's what's so cool is those two guys are just they're just fearless. They're literally
Yeah.
fearless, and they are going into those corners side by side. And you know, it's like those bikes are sketchy at high speeds. And I mean, I know. I mean, the race that I won at with my Indian, that last lap in the last turn 4, I just thought, holy cow, I gotta get down as low as I can and just hold that throttle. And I mean, I was, you know, literally like this, and I only got a little bit more. Just stay straight. And you know, those bikes are sketchy at full throttle.
Yeah, and people don't realize what it's like to be on track. Like when you're out there on the track and somebody comes behind you or they come to pass you, you don't hear them until they're next to you. So you don't know they're there. And then all of a sudden, it's alarming when somebody gets up close to you. You have no brakes, and you realize, now I'm going to get pinched into the wall coming out of this turn. And, you know, I either have to stay, and it's hard to keep it down away from the wall because the physics of the track and the motorcycle want to shove it right to the wall. So people don't realize like what's going on and how quick it all happens. And, you know, if somebody comes around from the outside of you, you know, now you're getting pinched into another rider. And, you know, in a 5-lap race, you know what's going to happen at some point. And it's really, really sketchy being out there. And I've been out there. I was out there one time behind Mount Woxler. I had a GoPro on the front of my bike, and I was right on his rear tire. I mean, maybe 2 feet off his tire. And it was very hard. He's such a good rider. It's very hard to hang with him. And I mean, I've got oil just spraying me in the face coming out of his breather. You know, hot oil hit me in the face and off his rear tire. And I was watching his tire just drift on the track. You know, you don't see it from when you're standing a few feet away, but when you're right behind him, that back tire was just swinging back and forth because it was covered in oil. And, you know, he was literally sliding it basically around the whole turn and correcting it with the fork. It was really, really, I got it on GoPro. It was pretty cool.
He's another good rider.
Oh, Matt's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a good rider. And I think his skill with, you know, knowing those bikes so well probably comes in handy a lot. That, you know, he knows how to tune them exactly right. That, you know, because you're obviously going into those corners, then you're full throttle and they don't have much torque. So it's, you know, you got to just stay even on the throttle the whole way and hang those corners.
Yeah. No, I love it. I think racing those kind of bikes on the asphalt, like baked asphalt like that, it's, you know, it's special. It's really, really special.
It is very cool. I love being a part of it, and even just being there with all the other races that, you know, this is something that nobody else is doing. So it's cool to be a part of it.
You know, for 2020, we were planning on having an event at the Ohio Vintage Days, AMA Vintage Days in Ohio. and doing a race at Laconia, and then of course COVID came, and those two events, had to cancel out, and then we were trying another event at Sturgis, and that canceled, and then we basically decided not to do anything this year. But hopefully 2021 is a different year.
Yeah.
And we can get back out, and really have just a great year, some awesome racing, and get back to being with our friends. I haven't seen you guys in a while.
Yeah, I
no,
see.
know.
Xavier is on here, and he says he's going to try to get back in March.
Oh, awesome! I hope so.
We'll hold him to it.
I got a Harley JD with Crocker heads on it. You can ride, X.
Oh, there you go. There's your reason to come.
Yeah.
And also I see Filippo, who's one of our buddies. He's a hamster from Italy. He says many of my friends love Billy Lane. So,
That's because they haven't got to know me very well yet. My charm wears off.
Yeah.
Filippo is an awesome guy. Huge fan of choppers and diggers and all that stuff, as well as any of the American TV. They love America over there.
I went last summer to Goodwood Festival of Speed in England. I don't know if you've ever been to that.
No, I would love to
Amazing.
go to that.
It's amazing. But I went with Shelly Rossmeyer, Pepe, and a couple other friends. We had a great time. But in Europe, I mean, they're just so passionate about their motorcycles, and especially the vintage American stuff. So I get it. We got such a warm reception over there. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. I see Dee's on here, which Dee works for us. She's met you a couple times at the biker shows in Boston, the motorcycle shows. Let's see. Kenneth said, "Come to Ole." I'm sure you've been to Ole.
Yeah, I haven't been in a long time. I hopefully if they have those events this year, I'll go for sure. I want to take a couple of my racers around with me, and just kind of a lot of that crowd. When you go to those antique meets, a lot of it's like knucklehead, panhead, 30s and 40s flathead stuff, and we really want to try and spread the word about the early stuff to people and get them more and more interested in it.
Yeah. Martin said that he's going to bring his 24 Harley.
Good.
So we got him.
Yeah, we're gonna have. This isn't gonna shrink. This is only gonna grow.
Yeah, I hope so. A couple people have commented too that you, me, and DP all have our Indian shirts on.
Oh, I didn't even think about it. I bought one of those FTRs, Indian FTR.
Oh yeah. Really? How do you like it?
I love that thing. I mean,
totally different perspective, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing motorcycle. I just know the roads here where I live, my ride to and from work every day is phenomenal. I rode it, in this morning and I rode it all week. And I ride choppers and that most of the time. And it's a pretty awesome motorcycle. There's nothing like it made in the United States. The best Buell on the planet couldn't come close to it.
Where are you? A couple people have asked too, where is your shop now? So I know you're in Tennessee.
Yeah, my shop is in Columbia, Tennessee. I'm just south of Nashville, maybe 30 minutes south of Nashville, the city. Okay. Nashville's a great town. We love it here. The we get a change of seasons, which I never had living in Florida.
No, you don't even know about seasons.
Yeah, I miss I know, but I miss the ocean. But I mean, I left for work Monday morning. It was 28 degrees, and I mean,
it's cool for you girls to have seasons and for you girls to have snow. Because I know we always loved snow when we were little growing up.
Yeah, and we get a little bit of snow here, not a lot. I mean, we get a few days, but they do love it, and it's good for them. We're so central, we can get them into the mountains pretty quick if we want to. If they want to do something like, we're taking them for Christmas, and they'll go like tubing in the snow and stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you're just south of Nashville. Did you get your Indian from Music City?
I did.
Oh, cool. So you bought it from Cam. So
yeah,
Cam's a good friend and obviously a great Indian dealership.
Yeah. And Dan Toast sent me this stainless exhaust to put on it.
Oh, cool. Dan, who's a fellow racer at Sons of Speed.
Yeah, I got to put that thing on one of these days. I've been so busy. I haven't had a chance to put it on, but I love that bike. I mean, I mainly ride Harleys, but I had a couple Indians and enjoyed them, and with the FTR, there's nothing like it. I was gonna buy a Ducati, I'm like, I want to spend my money on an American brand,
Yeah.
and the FTR is the closest thing there is. So I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I'm thinking about getting an Indian myself. I'm working on it.
Switching them over.
Yeah.
I don't think. Have you ever owned anything besides a Holly?
No, I've never owned anything other than a Holly.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, I have, I've had Henderson's, a lot of the older brands that are out of business, Crocker, but I have mostly Harley stuff too. I mean, I always skewed more toward it. And it's what people are most familiar with, of course. But if Harley made something like the FTR, I'd be torn because that's a pretty amazing bike.
Yeah, they are cool. They
Yeah.
are really cool. We're not just saying that because we're Indian fans. It's definitely a cool.
Now,
bike.
is that bike on a Scout chassis? Is that kind of the same thing?
No, it's its own chassis. I mean, it's it's
a flat track bike.
yeah, it's like the copy of their flat track bike. I don't know if it's gonna get too bright for you out here, but it's right there. So
Oh, yeah.
okay. It's its own animal. For sure. It's the Scout that couldn't even come close to it, I mean, they make 123 horsepower, and then obviously there's a lot left in the tuner, you can get 130, 140 horsepower out of them. I don't know that you need it. It's you gas it coming out of a hard lean, and it'll wash out on you pretty hard. It'll start getting sideways, pretty quick.
Yeah, I bet.
Somebody said, how does it compare with an XR 750?
I've never ridden an XR 750 on the street. So I was trying to buy an XR 750 or the new Harley XR. That's what I was trying to buy originally before they started producing that bike. And you can't buy them. You have to buy them through Vance and Hines. So then I was trying to buy an Indian racer and convert it for street riding. Then Indian announced they were going to produce that bike. And so I eventually went and grabbed one. But I mean, XR 750s, a great bike, but they're really good for one thing. I mean, they're wide open and get it sideways. I mean, that's really all they're made for.
Yeah, and they're not making 125 horsepower either.
No, 90s,
Right.
asking a lot of it, which is all you need. But I mean, this thing has excellent transmission, Brembo brakes, Olin suspension. I mean, it's a real, it's made for, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's good for riding on the street as well as if you wanted to race it.
Yeah, people are racing them, pretty much not putting a tuner on it and taking the lights off and racing them. But I'm not doing that with it. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to take it to New Smyrna Speedway and run it on the track. I want to see what you can really do with it on that track. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But, I have no plans to race it. I just looking for something a little different. I've been riding rigid frame choppers for so long. It's got cruise control, which is for me is a big deal.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right. So one more question. This has been asked a couple of times. They want to know what happened to your Discovery bike.
My
which
Discovery
one?
bike.
Well, I'm just going to say, I guess it could be any.
Well,
of
we
them.
know it was probably Frank Catronio, right?
Yeah, you got a bunch of them. They have a couple of them.
Who kidnapped us.
A couple of them went to Canada. I'm sorry?
Sorry, you froze. What happened to the Discovery bike?
Oh, I sold them
Yeah.
all. I mean, I've sold every custom bike I ever built except for my little blue shovelhead that I still have from the late 90s, early 2000s. A lot of stuff went to Europe. When in 2008, 2009, when the economy got really bad, a lot of my stuff, Europeans were buying it up. So a lot of it's out of the country. There's not much left in the U.S., I don't think, really. So I don't know where everything is. I think the bike we did with you is in Miami, if I'm not mistaken. I know it had been bounced around a few places, but I hope I never see that thing again.
What about Misbehaving? Because Frank had that, right?
Yeah.
Wonder what happened to that.
I don't know. It's the thing is with social media, you think you would see them and you just don't.
Yeah, we
know,
were saying
I know.
that too. Like, what happened to all these bikes? Like, where are they? Like, did they just, I don't want to say brought away, but just
I
they're
don't
not
know.
non-existence or? Yeah, I know. So if anybody out there knows about Misbehaving
Well,
or any of our bikes,
Frank, he sold most of his bikes.
Right.
And I actually bought my Discovery bike back from Frank.
Oh, yeah.
And then I sold it to a guy, one of our customers that has a museum. So it's in a museum now in Maine.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
Yeah. And he, I know that he was selling, the ones that you built too, but I don't remember who bought them.
Yeah. We also have another good racer on here. Russ is on here. Russ Cavallo
Oh, yeah.
watching. He says, "What's up?" He misses his Sons of Speed crew. Russ, we definitely miss you as well. Hopefully, all of us can see each other in March.
Yeah, I hope so.
We'll just have a big vaccine party in March, hopefully out the track there, and we can
Yeah.
Yeah,
give a big group hug.
Actually, Filippo from Italy said Billy Lane is a modern Ireland Fatland. Compliment.
Yeah.
Arlen's a modern Arlen Fatland.
Yeah.
Yeah, so well, I'll be seeing you guys in March, and then I'm sure we'll see you out in Sturgis. I mean, I think you're doing Michael Lichter's thing in Sturgis next summer, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right, Dave?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, DB's got a cool bike in the works.
Yeah. I got a Panhead that I'm
Good.
building, and I was going to put it in Michael's show this year, but it got changed around. So naturally, I stopped building it. But it's pretty close.
Yeah. Same here. I'm doing a really cool bike for that too. It's kind of it's picking little elements from a lot of the bikes I've done over the years and kind of combining them tastefully, and then a lot of the stuff that I was doing in the early 90s when I was really young in Miami. It came from that kind of how bikes were being built down there. So I'm looking forward to bringing it and seeing everybody there. There's such that lineup that Michael has at that show.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah. Billy, I'm on a mission to build some old Ironhead Sportster diggers.
Oh yeah.
The stuff that Alan and myself built, and some of the other guys back in the 70s. So I've been collecting Ironhead motors and old digger stuff, frames and stuff. So I've got a couple of them in the works now that I'm just starting on, but I'm going to start building some of them. I just love those things. They were so cool.
Yeah.
Little skinny,
Yeah, but
low.
if you build them, you got to ride them.
Yeah. Well, I can, can ride them a little bit anyway,
I love that style too. I always have. And some of those older pictures of you and Arlen and
Right.
some of that stuff is, it blows me away when I look at some of those bikes.
All the first 4 or 5 years that we all went to Sturgis together, that's all we all rode. I mean, all of us, we rode Ironhead Sportster diggers,
Yeah.
So it was, it brings back a lot of memories.
Yeah, it is cool. It is cool to see that stuff because that's not something that people are building now.
No.
Nobody's.
No, not at
there's
all.
a couple out there, but
Yeah, no, nothing like what we did back then.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I can't wait to see what you put together then. If that's what
Yeah.
that's the direction you're headed, I'm really looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Billy. Well, we don't want to keep you all day because I know you got work that you got to do so that you aren't too late for dinner tonight with you girls. But thank you very much for coming on here with us today. I think a lot of people, tons of people have chimed in how they're huge fans of you, whether it's from the Bike of Build-Offs or from Sons of Speed or just your motorcycles in general. So you definitely have an awesome fan base out here. And like I said, I wish I got to all these comments and people, but there's so many of them, people chiming in. So keep doing what you're doing. And thank you very much for coming on.
Hey, Billy, thanks a lot, man. It was great talking to you, and we'll have to do it again sometime.
Yeah, thank you. It's been an honor, and I'd just like to say before I go, Dave, thanks for inspiring me to, I mean, I was watching you before I was a mechanic working on, changing oil and watching what you were doing. And, so thanks for the inspiration. And then I know you're a proud dad to Jody, and I'm proud of her too for what she's done in racing and, with the Cannonball stuff and just for women motorcyclists. I mean, it's inspiring to my girls. As my girls get older, I'm going to be saying, hey, look at this woman right here. Look what she's doing. So thank both of you.
Oh, thanks, Billy.
All right, Billy. Well, we'll catch you later. Thank you once again.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.
Okay. Bye, Bill.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for everybody tuning in and all your comments and everything. It was a great show, good conversation. Shout out to Indian Motorcycles and Law Tigers for sponsoring Chopper History. And this episode truly was Chopper History. So thank you guys once again. And make sure you share our videos, comment, like, all of that. And we will catch you Monday for another episode of Chopper History. You got anything else?
Nope. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thanks for tuning in.